It's time for Twig. This week in Google, Jeff and Gina are here with their South by Southwest Postmortem. We'll also find out what Jeff and Marissa Mayer and Tim Armstrong talked about last week. And Gina's tip of the week, it's the return of Google Wave. It's all coming up next on This Week in Google.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. This is Twig. This Week in Google. Episode 86, recorded March 16th, 2011. The Right to be Forgotten. This Week in Google is brought to you by GoToMeeting. Business travel can kill your company's profits, so do more, save more, and travel less with GoToMeeting. For your free 30-day trial, visit gotomeeting.com/twig. And by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to publish a high-quality website or blog. For a free 14-day trial, go to squarespace.com/twig. It's time for This Week in Google and the Cloud. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, back from a wild party somewhere in the middle of Texas, Gina Trapani.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Should have worn my cowgirl hat.
How are y'all?
Great.
Yeah.
A little raspy still from the partying, but
Wow.
happy to be home, but also great South by.
It was really fun. Also from South by Southwest, Jeff Jarvis. Jeff and Gina are...
Sorry, I'm still waking up from the party.
Jeff and Gina are our regulars. Next week we will have a special guest from Google. But for now, the three of us, and lots to talk about in the Googleverse. But I guess we should debrief. By the way, thank you so much for being part of TWiT on Sunday. And if you haven't heard...
Thank you. I always feel good when I graduate to TWiT.
It's not graduating.
Exactly.
I'm at the grown-ups table.
No. I want to just say about This Week in Google, this show is one of our absolute premier shows, and it's entirely because of you guys. Whoops, I just darkened the show.
Until then,
and we went black. No, it's entirely because of you guys. You guys are fantastic.
Oh, no.
And it's one of the reasons this show Out of the Box got such a great audience is because you have absolute fans. Gina, for of course starting Lifehacker and her great work with Think Up. And I have to throw in now To-Do.text, which increasingly...
Because you're using it. Awesome. I have to tell you, Leo,
it.
People tell me, I listen to you on Twig. I don't hear Lifehacker anymore.
That's good.
I listen to you on This Week in Google. Yep.
I guess that's good, right? And they know about
it's
smarter
great.
word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarvis, of course, he's a professor of journalism. He's an esteemed commentator on the future of journalism and also the author of really one of the best books on Google, What Would Google Do? Although now I saw... Vajanathan on CNN touting his new book. So his book's finally out.
Yes.
Siva's book is finally out.
And Stephen Levy's book, I just got the galley for it.
He's
in the Plex.
He's
doing kind of the story of Google.
Oh, see, he did, of course, the classic Soul of a New Machine. No, that's Tracy Kidder. He did Hackers, which really was one of the... That and Soul of the New Machine were the seminal works on the 70s computer scene. And so I can't wait to read that. And Auletta's book Googled. So there's a lot of books about Google.
Time to move on.
Yeah, maybe we should move on. His next book, Public Parts, will be out sometime soon. And you spoke, didn't you, Jeff, about that very topic at South by Southwest?
Yeah, I was over the river and through the woods halfway to Dallas, but yes.
Did you get the Foursquare? There's a Foursquare button that's like, I can't remember what it is, far out or something.
Far away.
Far
If
away.
you explore Austin outside of the... but really, for some panels, you have to take a shuttle to the hotel, across the river. Yeah, I did that a couple times.
I was thinking about... I was trying to think of what to suggest, because when we discussed this somewhere that I was wondering whether South by 19,000 is the final number. 19,000 paid participants.
Wow.
And should it be cut down? Should it have a cap? And somebody said maybe it was on TWiT. Well, then it becomes TED, which you don't want.
We don't want an elitist show.
But it just doesn't work. It's just too big. I'm thinking about it. I think they've got to separate film from interactive now.
Well, and maybe be a little bit more selective in panels. I mean, there's so many panels and there's so many tracks that it's a little frustrating because you just can't see.
Mad, yes.
Yeah, you can't see all the ones. So if they were if they cut the number of panels down by 75%.
It'd also be great if people could express interest in panels beforehand so that they could see before they schedule them.
Don't they do that? Don't they have votes?
No, Gina wants to, this person, user 123, Gina Trapani, wants to see these panels. Oops. Let's not, a lot of people want to see the same panels. Don't schedule them at the same time. So there's a lot.
There you go.
Right.
There is technology to solve this problem.
Lanyard.com, Lanyard with one A, was awesome. And my coworker Andy Bayo was like, hey, just go on Lanyard and see what panels your friends are going to. And I did that, and it was just like, it immediately kind of surfaced, 20 minutes, and I had this great list of panels that I wanted to go to. And Lanyard did a really, really nice job, better than the native, sorry, South by Southwest, but better than the native South by Southwest app.
That's interesting,
Yeah. They had this kind of dedicated.
It's a little different than Plancast. I mean, it's similar in that for that use.
Yeah, I haven't used Plancast very much, so I'm not sure. Lanyard's sort of just, it's conference specific.
Right.
And you sign in with Twitter, so it knows who you follow and who's followed you, and you can list yourself as a speaker, and you can, see where your friends are going. And that was really, really helpful for me because I'm out of the loop, but my friends are in the loop. So
yeah, Plancast is all events, and Lanyard is just conferences. So yeah,
right,
social conferences. It just shows you that there's a problem, or you wouldn't have software like Lanyard.
Right.
And I like this link. Fed up about hearing about South by Southwest? Block tweets from known attendees. Now that's an application that people want. Well, of course, you can't block us, but we'll stop talking about South by now. But I do have to start thinking about it for next year. We are talking with them actually this week about expanding our participation. There's a lot of things we'd like to do. One of the things, the last 2 years, all we've done is cover the parties because, Scoble told me, he said, forget the conference, forget the show. The parties is where it's at South by. So last year and this year, that was kind of our coverage. But I really do want to cover the conferences. So what we're going to try to do is work with the organizers to have a stage outside where select conference presenters can come out. We can't stream the conference; they do that, but can come out and talk to us, and we can interview them. And I think wouldn't that be a great way to spend a couple of days?
Having the crowd, having the people there, and it was just so great. The venue you found, and it was the real fans were there.
Yeah, Momo's was great.
And that was wonderful. It's just having real people and enthusiastic, nice people.
I decided not to promote it too much because I just wanted it to be people who listen to the show so they would know about it. Right, and it worked perfectly.
I would love to have had you stream our session, though, Leo. Andy organized the worst website ever, which was like 7 people pitching their worst possible ideas to a VC. It was Dave McClure. And he funded us with $5, the winner. It was hilarious. We had the ballroom raucous laughter. It was awesome. And everyone was asking us, is there a video? And we're going to try and get a video up. But, man, I would have loved to have had you live stream that. It was one of the coolest panels I've ever been on. It was really fun.
Well, doesn't South by do something? Most conference organizers will do something.
So they live streamed the keynotes, which was great. But like the individual panels, we actually did our panel twice because the first room was so small. We had a line to the escalator. So they said, okay, well, we have, that was at 11 a.m. They said, oh, we have a bigger room for you. You can redo it again at 5 p.m. so we can accommodate everyone. It was one of those things. It was the most popular event on Lanyard, so we knew a lot of people were going to come. We didn't want to turn them away at the door, but we had to do that the first time. So it was just one of those things. Like we knew it was going to be a good panel. South by didn't, and it was just like, I wish we could have streamed this. But we had somebody with a handy cam in the first row, so we did get some video.
Oh, we could do better than that. So
definitely,
Eileen is sitting here, and we are going to talk. We have a conference call with the organizers literally in the next few days. They didn't want to talk until after it was over, but planning for next year. And that's a great idea. If we would know ahead of time, and I think with your help we would, what the really 5 of the best panels, and they would let us stream those, that would be awesome.
Yeah. You got to find the panels that are funny, like that take a different, that aren't just people sitting at a table going wah wah wah. The really kind of
a lot of that.
The real lively ones. That would be great.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Well, the great thing you can do too is you don't just stream the stage, you use your cameras to go around and Oprah the room.
Yes, right.
Because you do it to the whole town. You know how to do that now, so you could do that with the room where you really bring in the funniness, the funny folks in the room.
It's a good verb, by the way, the Oprah the room.
And we know how much Jeff loves Oprah.
Yeah,
I'm going to Oprah the room, and no, I think we will. We'll be a little bit more. We're getting more each time, getting a little more ambitious. I mean, last time, remember, it was just me, a staff, and a camera.
Yes.
And I walked around. I didn't have a cameraman. I was just me, walking around.
Well, then, Leo, you have the other problem of having the one-person crowd surfing, the six-person crowd surfing.
Now what do we do?
I think the tattoo is the only way to go.
I was hoping that I could do
wrong. I don't want the TWiT logo on your ass. I want the Twig logo on your ass.
Oh, dear. We should have a bet. We should have a bet. We'll figure out something. So let us talk a little bit about what's going on in the world outside of South by Southwest. Yes, there is a world outside of Austin, believe it or not. Although, really, the geek world and the cloud world did converge on Austin. I have to say, I learned a lot. Did anybody go to the Google Hack House party?
That's how I knew that South by Southwest had gotten too big. Normally, when Google holds events at conferences like this,
huge.
It's top of my list, and it's the first thing I play. I didn't make it to any Google events. I felt terrible. Jeff, did you make it to any of the Google events? They were pretty big. They had a big presence.
Events were so subscribed. These parties were so oversubscribed that many of these parties had competitions to get into the party. The Foursquare party you couldn't get into unless you did you were like, it was crazy. And I don't know. So I'm just looking at all the things they did. They had on Sunday, which we missed, was the League of Extraordinary Hackers from 1 to 6. They had 15-minute API briefings on Android, Chrome, HTML5, Blogger, Google TV, Google Maps, App Engine, YouTube, web fonts, cell bots, and fusion tables. What? Whoa.
I'm just not in the developer mindset when I go to South by Southwest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not in I want to learn the Chrome API. It's like...
We missed that because we were working, but then we could have gone to Super Happy Dev House, complete with hacking and a Lego Mindstorms sumo bot competition. Wow. We got, you know what? I need more cameras and more hosts.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do a four-way screen where you pick what party you want to be. It's just incredible.
But then on the other hand, a party's a party's a party.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going deaf. You're then going to lose your voice. You're going to fight to get one drink. You're going to scream at the same people you saw all day. I don't mean to be old just for no fun. But
no, you're right. That's why, to be honest, I thought next year we try to capture at least some of the session content, which we have not.
I think session content, and I think the fact that you go to Dignation, the fact that you are now going to have a show of similar parties with content,
right,
are pretty great.
Well, I don't. We don't even know what we're going to do next year as far as shows, but I guess we have to do a show. I don't want to do stubs. Yeah. I don't do what Dignation does. That's 2,000 people.
Yours was great. Momo was great.
I liked what we did because it was like family.
But next year, the thing is now everybody knows about it. So next year you're going to
make it big. I don't want to make it big. But anyway, we'll figure out somewhere.
I was thinking too that we'll get off South by Southwest because I know most of the world is sick of it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there. I'm tired of hearing about it. But if they split up theater and interactive, they could also use the theaters to do some really neat stuff.
Oh, right. If they separate film. Yep. Yeah. That's a good idea. Actually, that separating the three is a really good idea. Wasn't this year the first year the interactive was bigger than film or music? Which is interesting.
No, last year was bigger, and this year was gigantic.
Yeah. So Google has, once again, done its crisis response page. This has become kind of just automatic from Google. If you go to google.com/crisis response, there have been an awful lot of crises in the world. And, of course, Japan is the latest. And I think they're doing a spectacular job now of this.
They've got this down, right?
They've got it down.
Yeah.
They roll this out right away. And honestly, I mean, not to be cynical, but Google needs to do this to show that they have real-time tools that can help people, that are on Twitter. Because all you hear about this, with these things, you hear about Twitter a lot. People found out through Twitter, people first, eyewitness accounts, that kind of thing. So Google's got to get into the game. And what I really like about Google's tools is that there's like a direct, help kind of situation where you can find, finding people and seeing maps and adding names and looking for names. That's very useful. Maybe more useful than seeing a stream of news going by. That's for people experiencing the issue.
Well, this has both, and that's what's kind of intriguing. You can click this link that says latest news. At the very bottom, they have real-time updates, which aren't updating yet, but they will. Those are mostly tweets. They have a latest, it's really a dashboard. Live streaming from NHK, maps. They have all sorts of updated links, rolling power blackouts, embassy resources if you're stuck in Japan. And then I like this right at the top, a way to donate, which I think is so fantastic, to either the Japanese Red Cross Society, UNICEF, or Save the Children. And I think that makes it very easy. That's using Google Checkout to donate. Everybody's doing that, though. I was really pleased to see Apple with their iTunes. It's right on the front page. It couldn't be easier to donate, and you do it right through the iTunes, and Apple doesn't take its normal 30%. I presume Google also waives its cut from Google Checkout. So, the tech community, we read on MacBreak Weekly yesterday an email that was sent to Kevin Rose from a listener up to this show and to many of the Twitch shows as well, because he mentions them, who was an Apple Japan employee and talked about what they did in the Apple stores. They said, Tokyo doesn't have much open Wi-Fi. Many people come to the Apple stores to use the Wi-Fi. So we stayed open till 10 p.m. that night. We put chargers out, as many as we could find, so people would charge their phones because there was no power. This is in Tokyo.
Wow, that's great.
People were actually spending the night there who couldn't get home. I mean, it was really, it was pretty neat. I'm sure other companies responded similarly. I'm sure Google Japan responded similarly. I think it's really great.
It's as we said it on TWiT, every technology comes of age. The next disaster supposedly, but watching the many ways that we get news now here is just amazing. I've talked about Andy Carvin like crazy. By the way, I'm going to be at NPR next week.
Oh, good.
Maybe I get Andy to come in for a few minutes.
Oh, would you please? He gave a panel again. This is another one I missed at South by. He gave a panel. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, he's just great. He's just wonderful. And he was doing Japan. But all the other sources, the fact that I've been going nuts watching NHK, which the Japanese network, and they put a live translator on the TV.
Oh, that's neat.
It's on Ustream.
Well, that's what he said. People in the Apple Store were going in to watch Ustream.
Yeah,
that's where they were getting their news. I think
that's exactly it. Yeah. So just for the record, it's ustream.tv/channel/NHK-world-TV. And it's striking how different the coverage is versus America and cable news. It is so much more information-packed and so less emotional, believe it or not. They're living through this, and we're the ones going crazy.
Yeah.
And they don't go crazy with the fancy graphics and all that. They sometimes just hold up a big, cardboard thing with a map of the area or a map of the reactor, and they explain it, and they go through long stories. It's very impressive. And amazing to be able to see it from there.
No kidding. So Andy Carvin, as we've mentioned before, we'll say it again, A. Carvin on Twitter, and he's doing a kind of a curation, as he has in the past with other events, major world events like the Egypt Revolution in Tunisia and Haiti before that. He's doing his own little curation, which is fantastic. And I can't believe still only 33,000 followers. Meanwhile, Charlie Sheen's got 2 million. It's like, what? Come on, please, give me a break. What is wrong with the world? And as you mentioned, NHK-World-TV on Ustream for their live. And actually, they also point to the main feed as well from NHK. I don't see anything.
You found any great resources on the technology side of this?
Well, the big story I think for us as technologists is the nuclear plants.
That's what I'm saying.
And trying to get, and it's really tough.
You had a link earlier to the MIT.
I did. Now Slate has deprecated that post, saying that guy is not a nuclear engineer. Although I think that the folks at MIT in nuclear engineering probably, in fact, I know, amended his post and vetted it for accuracy, so I tend to trust that post. And then we also had a link to nrc.gov where they have a lot of teaching material, the National Nuclear Regulatory Council, on how those version 1 GE boiler reactors work. But it's hard to get unbiased information. A lot of the news networks want to sensationalize it like it's the end of the world, and then pro-nuke people are minimizing it, and I just, I'm on the fence on nuke, and I'd like to get that information so we could make an intelligent choice. And that's apparently not going to be not too easy to do. So yeah. I want to. We're probably. I think this is in our portfolio. Do something on the network to try to get some unbiased.
That's a good idea, Leo.
Factually, technical information on the air. Non-easy to do, I might add, because everybody seems to have a dog in this hunt. Let's move on to some Google news. Chrome, a big winner in two ways. It survived the pwn-to-own attempts to hack it. Actually, there were no attempts, which I thought was very interesting. Canada's CanSec West, a security conference that's held every year, has a traditional pwn-to-own festival in which hackers attack browsers and operating systems and lately mobile devices. They come prepared with their hacks. We should point out they don't just sit down on a computer and say, let me see if I can hack this. Of course, the company's now aware of this, put out patches right before Apple put up dozens of patches for Safari, and still Safari got hacked within 5 seconds. Neither Chrome nor Firefox was hacked at all, despite the fact that Google put out an additional $20,000 reward to the person who hacked it. Nobody attempted, which I take to mean nobody had a hack.
Yeah, that doesn't mean no one tried.
They tried before
succeeded.
Yeah, they tried before the event and said, we're not wasting our time on that.
Yeah, so Google was paying $20,000 to someone who successfully hacked.
Yeah, so you would get anyway. You'd get 40,000. I think you get 15,000 and a laptop if you succeed. And Google said, we'll sweeten the pot. And still nobody attempted, which is a pretty big pot. And I would say...
Yeah, that's a pretty good bounty.
I would say that is evidence there was, in fact, no known hack.
Right.
Firefox
that
wasn't
those
hacked
hackers
either.
really find.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure that Android... I think Android got through as well. Let me just see. Pwn-to-own. This is really a great event. It looks like Android might have been hacked... Oh, that was 2008. Never mind. Yes, in 2008, Android was hacked. But it's interesting because a lot of these operating systems and browsers are now much more hardened than they were a few years ago, thanks to pwn-to-own.
Thanks to pwn-to-own, yeah. Exactly.
Although a number, Charlie Miller, who's the guy who traditionally hacks Safari, didn't this time, but traditionally has won that award. Said there is a negative side of this. Hackers will hold off on revealing exploits so that they can use them. Right.
Did any other company sweeten the pot like Google did?
No, certainly not Microsoft.
Yeah,
nor
it's very
Apple.
Interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. Google.
Yeah, it's interesting that perspective that you're doing as a service versus
the
other way around.
Yeah. So, $20,000 and a CR48 laptop. Ooh, now you're cooking.
Well, those are about to get scarce, aren't they?
Are they? Are they giving up on those?
Yeah, it looks like we have a story on the list here. They shipped the last CR48 for now, quote unquote.
Well, that probably means that we'll see actual commercial versions of the Chrome OS, yes?
Right. Yep, this summer, I guess. Gadget's reporting.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have my CR48. I just saw it the other day. I waved at it. Hi. How are you? Good to see you. I should probably see if there's updates. I don't know. It doesn't compel.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe offering it as a bounty for ThinkUp.
There you go.
Yeah.
You want another one?
Yes.
You can have two.
Yes, I would love that. We shall discuss that offline.
Mine is just sitting there.
You'll be making the government better, Leo, with your CR48. Think of it that way.
It's about time. Partner Chrome OS devices on track for summer. Google, rumor, according to Engadget, rumor had 60,000 CR48s made in December, and that number fully depleted. They were pretty. They were very free with them. In fact, anybody could apply and say, "I want one." And
I never got one.
You never got one?
No.
Well, do you want mine? You should have mine.
Yeah, maybe Jeff should.
I'll play with it and send it to
Good.
Gina.
Yeah, I'll send it to you first.
Cool.
And then it's certainly worth playing with. Because it was never intended to be a product. It was only intended to demonstrate Chrome OS and to beta test it. And I know they've been pushing out a lot of fixes over time.
Yeah, they have. It's definitely updated. I use it every once in a while, and once in a while I do get the restart to update. You got update.
They had a problem with the trackpad, which they fixed.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway,
did it work easily with printers and all that?
I don't know. I didn't try.
No, I actually never tried to print from it.
Printing, what's that?
Google.
You're so dead tree,
by
Jeff.
barely asking. Yes.
Did work with printers? No.
Can I use my acoustic coupler with it?
I believe the steam engine was not needed.
Actually, I didn't. I should try Cloud Print, though, right? That's why they built Cloud Print.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. What we'll do is I will autograph it in a silver pen. I'll send it to you, Jeff. You autograph it in a silver pen. And we'll send it to Gina. And they'll have the Twig crew.
Nice.
Yeah.
It'll be a collector's item. Let's do that.
Yeah. That's cool. Chris DeBona is going to be in next week. I can get him to autograph it, too.
Awesome.
Google VP lays down mobile stats. Is that a number of the week? I don't want to interrupt your number of the week.
No, another one.
He says 150.
She says. Marissa.
She. You know, I looked at her. I thought, that's a guy. What am I, an idiot? What am I, a nut? What is wrong with me? No, I believe I can tell nowadays. She has long hair. No, that's not. Anyway, she said, at South by Southwest, Marissa spoke. She said, map service 150 million. Is that 150 million uniques?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. And
12 billion miles.
Yes, 12 billion miles. Wow.
Yeah. That is crazy. It's the latest build of the app saves people an average of 2 days worth of travel time per year. I have to say, Google's so great at that, at breaking down the amount of minutes, seconds, hours that things like Chrome. They did the same kind of stat when they launched the Chrome instant results, right? Didn't she say it saves searchers like an hour or a week or something? They do. Speed is obviously Google's main focus, but that's the way to tell the story.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, they'd be good at metrics.
Right.
Obviously. You talked to Marissa last week. We had to let you go early, Jeff.
That's
How did that go?
It was good. I had Marissa and Tim Armstrong up there, and Tim did not back away from the AOL way.
Good.
Marissa described a future of content which really, takes the thing I've talked about in the past of the hyper-personal news stream and really has a vision for where targeting is going to go. And a lot of discussion about quality and improving quality, new algorithms and stuff like that.
When you use the word targeting, I think that might bother some people.
That's, you know it's coming. You know it's coming. Google has such a good sense in their own minds of, as does Facebook, of the value of it, and then they don't fully understand the creeped out people out here.
Right. Well, what is targeting? What does that mean?
If Google prioritizes your inbox today, imagine if Google could prioritize all your feeds, right? So you have your Twitter feeds and your links and your email and your RSS, and they know enough about you to know what you care about. And so that they just say, here, Leo, do this. That could be high value to you, but they know they got lots of signals then of what matters to you and who you're talking to and when and why. And you're getting value back, so it's worth doing. I mean, I couldn't live without Priority Inbox now.
Is the trick to do it without creeping people out?
Yeah, the trick to do it is by being very open, and the political end of this is difficult. I think Obama is about to announce, the FTC is about to announce tomorrow, a do not track law, and it just drives me nutty because we don't need it. We have it. We have the ability to turn off cookies anything we want. It's a stupid way, but as has often been pointed out to me, the fact that do not call got 180 million Americans or some such. Anything called do not today is going to pass in Washington.
Yeah, do not.
The do not breathe law is going to be
not.
And
so is it? I have this antipathy towards marketers. Obviously, I imagine everybody does. But is that really reasonable? I mean.
They pay.
Isn't marketing? Yeah, isn't it kind of critical? Isn't it the grease that lubricates our economic machine?
That's what I wrote this paragraph in the book saying you can cut all these things out. You can get ghostery and find out who tracks you. You can go to an incognito session. You can kill your cookies. This is all in your power today, and that's fine. It's your right and privilege, and you can do it. But when you do that, you have lowered your value to the site you're coming to. And you may be pushing them at some point, if enough people do this, over the edge to either open a paywall because they have to. How much do you like that, folks? Or certainly put up just really junky ads. That's the immediate. Or even die.
Yeah.
And so there's a responsibility here, I think. And Yeah, I fast forward through TV ads too. And I ignore lots of ads too. And I put the blame on the advertising industry for doing stupid ads that don't think, and media for selling too many of them and not being relevant, not being engagement. But that's the whole point. If it's going to be better advertising, the way it's going to be better is targeting.
Right.
In the EU, I put up this on the list. They this week are going to come out with this panic goes on. Somewhat related, they're going to have a right to be forgotten.
I love that.
A guy I know named Jens Best in Germany, he did the anti-Street View thing where he had people find the pixelated houses.
Yeah.
He tweeted me, where is it here? He said, they're confused. Right to be deleted in social networks, okay. Right to be forgotten means delete everything about me online. That's bad in lots of ways. And that potentially violates, if I write about you and you can come along and tell me to erase you, then that's a violation of my freedom of speech.
Right.
So this mania, the mania is doing great things for the book. It'll be a good topic by the time September comes around. But it bothers me greatly that we're going overboard on some of these things because there's this mania.
Yeah. I like the right to not exist.
Well, the right to be forgotten, like the internet never forgets.
Yeah.
And like have me just sort of disappear after a while.
It's not technologically feasible, however.
Well, what it amounts to is that as part of the TOS for Facebook, you would be required to guarantee that you could erase someone from the service.
Right.
Though you're still right there. Fine, you can erase my account, but can you erase everything that somebody said about me? Can you erase every photo I'm in? Can you erase every link to me?
This is the problem Facebook has. You could delete your Facebook account, but if anybody has referred to a picture in that account, it stays because it's part of their collection now.
No man is an island.
Right. And let's not forget the internet.
I know a few women who are, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, you perhaps are talking about the islets of Langerhans. Let us... I don't know where that came from.
Where did that come from?
That was just something that's buried deep within my mind.
How often have you had shock therapy? It's brought out.
Yeah. So let's take a break. When we come back, it is the rebirth of Google Wave. Or is it? A very happy Gina Trapani.
The night of the living tech dead.
Very happy.
We'll find out exactly what that means in just a second. Before we do, though, I'd like to tell everybody about GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting, of course, that great software from our friends at Citrix that makes it possible for you not to hit the road. If you're just back now from South by Southwest, probably the last thing you'd want to do is get back on a plane for a client meeting. And yet so many of us spend so much time for those face-to-face meetings. Wouldn't it be great if there was some sort of system like, I don't know, the internet that would allow you to have your meetings online? Yes, there is. In fact, you probably know there's quite a few online meeting solutions, but none easier, none better than GoToMeeting. If you haven't tried it, I do want you to try it. Meetings cost, a lot of time, a lot of money, and there's a lot of stress in flying places. So we do teleconferences, but they're not perfect. People get bored. You know what we've been doing lately? We still do a lot of teleconferences, but we set them up with GoToMeeting. It's nice because it's built into GoToMeeting. It's free. You get teleconferencing via VoIP, which means you can use it on the iPad or by phone or both. So we set up a teleconference. It's built into Outlook. It's a click of the mouse. It's very simple. But we also have the GoToMeeting in the background. We don't always use it, but if I suddenly say, let me show you, I can turn it on and they see it. Very easy for clients to use, people who've never used it before. A lot of other people are, maybe still using those crappy Microsoft meeting software. Adobe has stuff. I just say, click this link. Boom, 30 seconds later, they've got GoToMeeting on there. And they say, wow, this is much easier, much better. I didn't need to call the IT department. For sales presentations, for product demos, for training, for collaboration. Again, you're in a meeting. You say, I got this document. Can we work on this together? Fantastic. I even, a couple of years ago, and this was so cool, rehearsed a presentation with two people in two different spots. We had a PowerPoint presentation. It was like 60 tips in 60 minutes, so it had to really move. We were able to rehearse it on GoToMeeting. It was incredible. Brought to you by Citrix, so you know it's secure 128-bit SSL. It's cross-platform, Mac and Windows, and yes, on the iPad, it's spectacular. And as many meetings as you want for as long as you want, just $49. Try it free right now. Go to gotomeeting.com/twig. 30 days free. You be the judge. gotomeeting.com/twig. So, Gina, we are using a new Google Doc feature that is very Wave-like.
It is very Wave-like. Google Docs just got comments, real-time live comments within the entire document and within sections of the document. And it's pretty cool, and it's very, very Wave-like. It doesn't have the chaos anarchy thing that Wave had, which was that you can't edit other people's comments, right? Which you used to be able to do in Wave.
Right. But you can comment. You can reply to their comments.
You can edit the document that you're both working on, which is some ways better, right?
Right, exactly. So the idea of comments is just to have this side conversation about what's going on in the document or in a section of the document without actually, changing the document itself. Now, Docs had chat, the sidebar chat on the side, which was nice.
We use that from time to time, yeah.
Yeah, we have used that, Eileen, and just as we edit the doc for the show beforehand. But comments, because you can do comments within a particular section, you can have discussions which are separate, and you can delete discussions after you've had them. Okay, this discussion has been resolved.
Right.
Not delete it, but kind of close it off. It's a nice new feature. I love this, right? Like I have to draft documents all the time, documentation, proposals, this kind of thing. And when you work remotely like I do, this kind of thing is huge. This is part of the reason why I loved Wave. So I'm excited. I feel heartened that this is kind of something, a lesson learned or a good feature from Wave that came into Docs. I think they did a pretty good job with it. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play with it. I've been playing it with you guys in the doc that we're sharing right now. And it also has this is one of Wave's fatal mistakes, is that Wave launched without email notifications. So you would wave someone, but you'd never know if they waved you back. This new discussions feature in Docs, you can set email notifications for various things if someone replies back or starts a new discussion, or you can turn them off completely, which is super nice. The button is, you have to open up a Google Doc, and then there's a discussions button up near share that's just discussions.
And so I'll zoom in on it so you can see it. It's right up here. By the way, we found this right away. You can change it so it doesn't email you. Right. Because Jeff said, I'm getting a bunch of emails. So you can turn that off. It's actually quite granular. If you click the discussions button, then the discussions opens up in light blue. It's a
get off my lawn, mailman.
I don't want the mail. But I also noticed, Gina, that there's a little yellow Post-it note when we've got a conversation, you and me, going off to the right as well. So, and I have the capability of responding, editing, deleting, and resolving.
Yeah, that's a selection conversation. So I selected a couple of words and then right-clicked and chose comment.
Right.
I'm going to add another one.
So she'll do it right now. And this is all in real time, so we're watching you as you do it.
Right.
Kind of cool.
So that should come up, and I believe that the little Post-it notes should match the color of the highlighted section.
So I can see, yes, they do. I can see those little red markers that Gina put. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Gina put that there, and then Gina put this here.
And so if you right click and hit comment, you can see, you should be able to see the comment.
Yeah. Right there.
So I like this. For groups that have to work on documents together, this is huge.
Talk about revision. So much better than Microsoft Word revision tracking. I mean, really real-time commenting.
Yes. But a very clear metaphor to word revision tracking, which I think people can understand, like have this mental model of a lot better, right? That was Wave's problem, is that it was like a product that solved the solution, that had a solution for people who use mailing lists and wikis a lot. And not a lot of people do that. And there wasn't a clear parallel. And I think this is a very clear parallel to word track changes, but it has, it's even better because it's real time and it's cloud based. So I dig it. I really dig it.
Yay, that's great. Wave, now we don't have the Wave plugin architecture and all of that, although I don't see any reason why they wouldn't necessarily bring that back.
I'd love to see something like that, but that was a tough, thing. Gmail has labs, but only Google employees can add labs. I mean, the dream would be, a lab section or an extra feature section.
Third party,
third-party developers could, and they haven't really done that. Wave was really the only platform that allowed for that kind of thing. So I think that's just a tough problem to solve. And I think, you really have to get developers pulled in, building really cool stuff to sell that. So I think
becomes interesting. Can't you tie that Is it easier to tie that now into the apps marketplace? That you now
that's a really good point, right?
Things.
Yep, the apps marketplace is actually a really good point, a way to sort of integrate with Google Apps and in a way. So yeah, let's compare. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, especially if you can make money, right? Making money is always a good thing.
people like to make money. I'll never understand why. Money. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm glad it's back. There's a video on YouTube that I guess demonstrates it. If you want to.
Yeah, the video is pretty good.
Yeah, so only 305 people have looked at it so far.
But actually, the video is kind of cute. It's got
it has wave cooties.
I'll go to the high def version and we can watch it. It's got jazz. Everybody loves jazz. Yeah, so that's a good demo if you want to know more about that.
Yep.
Yep.
And you can email addresses so people can get notification that you've addressed them inside of a doc, which is nice.
Yeah. So Gears is dead. Long live Gears. Or something. I'm confused.
Or Google Gears.
Yeah. Well, it died.
It was basically dead before.
It was dying before, but it's officially dead now, yes?
It's officially dead now, yeah. I mean, I think maybe we'll look back and see this is the dark age of like when we knew what offline looked like because of Gears, but we didn't have it because, HTML5 was on the horizon. I guess they just pulled Gears. Gears is now officially completely out of Chrome. It hasn't been around for a while, but it doesn't support IE9 or the Firefox 4, which I think is scheduled to drop next week. So, Gears is gone. It's I think it's probably really hurt Google Docs and maybe even Gmail in the browser to not have offline capabilities. I think that Google made the right decision to go with HTML5 and not this sort of hacky extension thing. But it's also been a really long time. I think they sunset Gears in May of 2010, and they're talking about HTML5 offline capabilities at the end of this year. So that's a long time.
That is.
Why does that take so long? It's not that complex, is it?
It's a good question. I'm not sure if it's an issue of the standard not being totally fleshed out or what. I would love to hear the backstory on this. I think Seth last week when we had Seth on, we asked him about it, and he said, "Yeah, I'm frustrated too."
But he said that it would come, but just it's not there yet. Yeah,
it's just taking a while. So
end of this year.
End of this year.
But if you're gonna push Chrome OS, and you don't have some sort of offline storage, that thing is practically useless the minute you get on an airplane.
Right.
Yes, that's the problem.
Exactly. Right. That's the problem.
Exactly the problem.
There are still, I found out, airplanes that don't have Wi-Fi.
Crazy.
Tell me about Continental.
I was on JetBlue. I said, "Where's the Wi-Fi?" No.
They're like, "No, here's your one-way TV."
You can watch TV though.
You can watch TV.
You've got 40 channels of direct TV. What's wrong?
On Continental, I got to pay $6 for that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, of course, the airline industry is in crisis, but it's really interesting how what was the latest, greatest technology 3 years ago is now suddenly seems out of date. These airplanes, it's hard to keep them up to date. It's a big expense, and the airlines don't have a lot. So I thought this might, I keep saying this. One of these days I'll learn. I thought maybe at South by Southwest, Google would announce Google Me, which now we think, according to Read Write Web, is Google Circles.
So that story got repudiated in a lot of places.
Not so. Oh, well. So traditionally, South by Southwest has been a great place to launch social stuff. Twitter, Foursquare, Gowalla. Nobody stood out this year, and I thought maybe this would be a chance for Google to say, "Hey, we're here."
Not a good place to launch anymore.
Apple stood out this year.
Say again?
Apple stood out this year.
Apple?
Right, with the iPad.
Because of the iPad.
Oh.
That got all the attention.
They didn't stand out. They popped up.
They popped up. I don't think South by Southwest is the right place to launch your startup anymore. Don't launch your startup. It's just too big. It's too crazy. There's too many similar competing things going at the same time.
You know what, Jeremiah
I think it makes more sense for Google to launch at Google I/O.
I sat behind Jeremiah Ouyang on the plane back, and he said something I thought was absolutely true. He said the barrier to entry is so low now that there are hundreds of startups. It's too easy. Anybody with a nickel can start up a site.
Right.
It's just too easy. And so as a result, you don't have, there's too many, and no one's going to stand head and shoulders above the rest. Read Write Web, and we're going to get Chris Messina on, not next week, I think it's Chris DeBona, but Chris Messina may be on the week after. According to this Read Write Web article, Chris Messina is is one of the big guys involved. He, of course...
Liz Gans went to Chris Messina, and he denied it utterly.
He denied that it would be launched at South by Southwest, right?
He declined to comment on the story, it says. And that's what Marshall Kirkpatrick is saying in Read Write Web. But Chris, of course, he's hashtags. He started the bar camp. He's a very open source guy. He's the kind of guy, if they're going to do something, I would really like to see them certainly incorporate his input.
I saw Rick Clow, who was in charge of Profile, who got Profiles launched.
We were going to get Rick on. He said, as soon as I'm not busy. I guess he's busy.
He's now moved to YouTube.
Oh, interesting.
We should still have Mon. One of the nice...
I love Rick. Very nice guy. This guy, Google acquired him along with his FeedBurner service. Jonathan Sposato, who was with Picnic, another Google acquisition last year, is also reportedly working on Circles.
Yeah, actually, Chris did say, I don't know what the story is talking about. So there was a total, utter denial. It wasn't just not here, but maybe later.
Why do these stories keep surfacing, though? If none of this is true, why do we keep hearing these stories? Are people like playing Marshall and other bloggers?
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, I'm not sure. I don't know why everyone wants Google to launch another social product after Buzz.
Yeah, I know.
I think one of the reasons that the buzz got big on this was because of the relaunched Profiles. Which really does look much more, it's cleaner, and it looks much more, as we talked about last week, like a Facebook page, because it's got, relationship status and things like that.
And there's also a link to your profile in the drop-down. Like if you look at the new Google toolbar, when you're at google.com and logged in, if you click on the drop-down, there's a link to your profile right there, which is pretty prime real estate. There also, there's a lot of chatter about Blogger. And, have you looked at Blogger lately and look at all the big new features in Blogger? It really seems like they're sort of pushing their more social products.
Well,
maybe
here's where that goes from the other side here is that Facebook got a patent for curated, that is to say, social search. That's on the list, Leo.
Patent for, okay, I'm trying to parse that sentence.
Under Facebook. Well, they call it curated search. Because they involve human input to it, but it's really social search because it's who among your social circle.
That's got to be scary for Google if Facebook
bingo
incredibly say we own that.
And for people to use, and I was hearing some people say that people are already using Facebook for search, but I don't know how you would do that. Well, Facebook would have the ability to generate search results and rank them according to a link's popularity within a person's group of Facebook friends.
Wow.
Now, Google's already hidden that way. Where I'm quite amazed when I look for random things, and below one I see that Leo has linked to this.
Right.
I think
that's valuable. Hugely valuable.
That's a big signal for sure.
Yeah.
So this is based on likes. This is based on what your friends have been liking with Facebook, basically. It sounds that way. I mean, this sounds very much like what Dig does or Delicious does or Reddit, any sort of social network where you can favorite things. But Facebook just has the users and has been pushing likes for a really long time.
The patent is, quote, visual tags for search results generated from social network. You said that. So information.
And it's paired with Bing.
Yeah, because they're doing that in Bing.
See, I wonder if you sign in to Bing using Facebook, is it going to get your track history? That's going to freak people out.
Well, it's good for Bing. I don't know anybody who's abandoned Google for Bing. I know people who tried, and I've heard people complain. I said I was Tom Merritt. Is he still doing it? No, he gave up long ago.
It says these search results are ranked based on frequency of clicks by the members of your social network. See, this is the thing. Just because I click on a search result does not mean that I recommend it. It just means that it looks like maybe it's the thing that I want.
Right. And by the way, how big is your Facebook social network? It's 100 people, 200 people. It's not. Right. It's not a huge sample.
You still get benefit at 100, but then is that really my social network? It's the combination. It's my Twitter people are probably more valuable than my Facebook people, oddly, because we know we're interested in the same things.
Happy birthday to YouTube. Gosh, I can't believe it's 5 years old.
Yeah.
I remember when Amber MacArthur In fact, I think it's still on the web. You can go look at her YouTube. It's on YouTube, as a matter of fact. Her piece that she did on our TV show. She said, "There's this new cool site. People can upload videos so easily. It's kind of neat." There's a video on YouTube that is the timeline. This is pretty cool, and then they're hiring. So Rick Clow is over there, but they're hiring new people.
I remember thinking these guys are crazy. They're never going to be able to host and stream that much video.
Oh, yeah. In fact, we said they've got a big problem here because they're going to get sued to death.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the lesson I have with my entrepreneurial students, where one of my students has a really good technology idea, and she was talking about the business model and saying she'd charge. Well, why are you going to charge? Well, because a friend of mine does it, and he pays for his servers. And I said, if that's your goal in life, stop.
Yeah.
Right? Look back at YouTube. It went berserk. I've got employee number 20 from YouTube is in my class now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Again, Hanku is a wonderful guy working on a new business. And, if you think like Silicon Valley, you think, no, grow as big as possible, and then magic will somehow happen.
Here's an interesting acquisition. Green Parrot Pictures. It's a company that specializes in fixing video quality. Google just bought
I haven't seen it operate yet. Have you seen it?
There is an example on YouTube. You want to watch?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here.
And we talked on TWiT about how Google also bought Next New Networks.
So here is that was that? Oh, didn't we talk about that last week?
That was TWiT, I thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a content company, so that's kind of interesting.
Well, they're going to get rid of the content and keep the platform.
Keep the platform. Yeah, platform is where the money is.
So I didn't see anything happen.
So here's original footage, kind of bouncy, shaky cam. iMovie does this too, and does a pretty good job of it. And now here, but it'd be cool if this is built into YouTube. You just upload your video and it kind of cleans it up. So shaky cam, shaky cam, shaky cam. Wow, that's stabilized.
Wow.
My motion sickness just went away.
Yeah, that's a lot better. iMovie does. It's very similar to what iMovie does.
Yeah.
On the new iMovie on Apple. And in fact, when you import your footage on an iMovie, it automatically does it for you. If you say okay, that's a big difference. And
that's a big difference.
I could see that'd be a big selling point if it does that automatically. Got crappy video? Upload it to YouTube. It will fix it.
That's nice.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. We're going to take a break. Come back with more. Our tool and tip and number of the week, and a couple of quick stories too. Boy, there's a lot. Facebook did block that Mark Zuckerberg action figure we talked about.
Oh, it's so good, too.
I know. He's even got the Adidas shower sandals.
Oh, great.
If they'd left out the like button, maybe.
Oh, they need to add with Beast to it now.
And the Zoom is available, the Wi-Fi Zoom, March 27th. So 11 days, $5.99. Too expensive.
I should confess, Leo, after having gone...
You bought one.
Reboxing my... No, I haven't, but just to the Twig audience, I said this on TWiT, I was going to eat crow and go ahead and buy the iPad 2. I went to the line, and they were out of anything but the huge one, so I didn't do it. But still,
I haven't bought mine either. I ordered it online. I just decided I wanted to hang out with humans instead of stand in line at the store, and I was too late. So I put in my order. It's like 4 to 5 weeks now.
Yeah, you won't get it till next month.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
I've waited this long.
Wait till you see GarageBand.
Yeah, I'm excited.
The Apple universe is seductive. It is coated in sugar.
Indeed.
But it is, in fact, 1984.
Follow the light, children.
In my opinion.
The light.
The light. Steve knows what's good for you. It's only a matter of time before they turn the camera on and Steve is watching. These are just like the screens in 1984, aren't they? But they're so pretty. I want to mention very quickly, and then we'll get to our tip and tool and number of the week. Our friends at Squarespace.com, the blogging platform extraordinaire. If you are... now, I know probably everybody who watches this show has a site. If you don't, come on. Get one. If you don't have your own site, you're just not controlling your presence on the net. You've got to do that. Unless you're one of those people that... What has the right to expire? What is it that in Europe? This is a way to control what people say about you online by having your own website. If you know somebody who doesn't have a website, this is the cool thing. Go to squarespace.com/twig, click the Try It Free button. Very simple to set up, no credit card needed a site. And that's why I like it, because it's really not attached to you. You can give this site to your friends or family members. Just give them the password. It's theirs now. And they can, if they decide they like it, they can keep it going as little as $12 a month, complete for hosting and software. Version 6 is just around the corner. Stunning, but even the current version is amazing. The iPhone and iPad integration, the seamless blog importing from all the APIs. So your existing site, you just move it over, links, comments, and all. An incredible variety of plugins like the photo galleries, the social network plugins, form building, data collection. Just take a look at the example sites, and you'll see so many great companies, individuals, photographers, and artists are using Squarespace now. It's just a great way to get your site up and running. That looks like Bree Pettis. It is Bree Pettis. Well, I'll be diggity danged. That's his site. Now, see, if Bree Pettis believes in Squarespace, that's like, who needs it? You know, that's like it.
Everybody wants to be Bree.
Mr. MakerBot. Look at him. He's so cool. Squarespace. I love the example sites. There's Kevin's site. Squarespace.com/twig. Try it free today. If you're looking for the best state-of-the-art technology, incredible servers at an affordable price, try it free for 2 weeks. Squarespace.com/twig. We thank them for their support of This Week in Google. Let's start with Gina Trapani, her tip of the week.
I'm afraid I'm going to take your tool. Are you going to talk about Google for iOS, Leo?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Okay, so I won't do that one. All right.
No, take my tool, please.
I won't take your tool.
I've been trying to get her to take my tool for years. Oh, that's so mean. I'm sorry I said that. How did you know that was my tool?
No. You should do that one because I actually don't have iOS to try it out on. So
okay, I have it in front of me.
So the main thing to try this week is the Google Docs comments, which we already talked about. A very tiny little tip, though. Gmail just added click to call to the web browser. So if you check your Gmail and someone has emailed you their phone number or their phone number is in their signature, you click on it and Gmail fills it in. It cool? Fills it into Google Chat to make the call directly from GChat. And that calling is free right now. They extended that. So it's an easy way. It's kind of the same interface that you'd have on your phone, right? Just tap a number and you can call, but now you can do it through your browser. So I was at South by Southwest and someone had emailed me his phone number and I was like, oh, that's a link. I had never seen that before. And then it launched GChat. So cool,
very awesome,
easy way to make a call. And then I have one shameless plug, which is that we are giving away an iPad 2 bounty at ThinkUp. So if you're considering if you're interested in contributing to an open source project, and we love newbies, so if you've never done it before, please come check us out.
Now you're giving away two.
Yeah, we're just giving out one iPad 2, and then maybe a CR48 at some point.
CR48, sorry.
So go to bit.ly/ThinkUp iPad 2 and submit a patch, and you make some great software better. Help us out. Help out a nonprofit, and you'll get your nerd merit badge from GitHub too.
So, how would you know what needs to be done? Is there a bug report or something, or
on that list we made some suggestions of cool new features, and we're gonna have so we have quite a few suggestions there. We've got an issue tracker full of ideas as well, and we're gonna have the community kind of vote on like what was the best and most useful feature that got merged. So we got quite a few ideas there, and even if you're not a programmer, we need help with documentation, with mock-ups, with just sort of design ideas. We welcome everyone. I'm really interested in sort of growing the community. And we have such a great community. We had a meetup at South by Southwest. We had like 20 people show up. Really great, just awesome, smart, interesting people. So
did Steve Martin come?
Steve Martin did not come.
He loves ThinkUp, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so great. We had the founder of iFixit show up, and iFixit the Mac. Yeah, so we were kind of talking around the tables, like how many thousands of dollars has iFixit collectively saved us all in sort of DIY Mac repairs. So that was really fun.
And they're teardowns of not just the iPad 2, but the iPad cover.
Yes.
22 magnets in here. It's just fascinating.
Crazy. Yeah, he said that they broke the iPad 2 glass. It was the first iPad glass that they had broken because it's so much thinner.
And it's also the way you can't.
They've glued it all the way around. It's not just tabs, right?
Yeah.
So those guys buy those iPads and take them apart and sell the parts, but they take them apart by hand. It's crazy.
They're incredible. They're
really cool.
I think it's one of the best blogs out there. So,
yep.
Good. How neat. Expert Labs is online where?
Expertlabs.org is the place to find us, and we got a blog there, and the bounty announcement is there, along with some other news. So yeah, check us out.
Neato. Jarvis, your number of the week.
I'm going to use this one. Netflix delivers 61% of legal video downloads on the internet, which of course is probably only about 2% of total video downloads.
Yeah,
we'll
right.
go with that. And I mentioned that because there was a nice little confluence of network wars stories, right? The fact that Brian Stelter at the New York Times reports that Netflix is looking to buy an original series, which I just love because that puts Netflix in competition with both networks and, in a sense, MSOs, and it makes them a new distributor of content, which, hallelujah, just what we need, competition. At the same time, Facebook, these are things in the log, is going to air baseball, so it too competes with networks. At the same time, the networks are having a hissy fit because Time Warner Cable's app was streaming content and they're complaining. I wouldn't want to be a network right now, though you go look and see, then why would Comcast buy them, Jeff? Well, because there'll be no network neutrality, and they'll find ways to advantage them and try to kill Netflix. And that's where the war is going to be. I got to see Senator Al Franken at South by Southwest. A very good presentation in which he gave the rousing defense of Netflix, Netflix via neutrality. And it's important, folks. And he was yelling at the crowd. Not yelling, he was being very funny. But
he's been great about that, I have to say. He's been so right on.
Oh, yes. He really was a very good talk. Yeah. And he said, entrepreneurs are job creators. You have more clout than you realize. You have power.
Right.
And I think what should come out of South by Southwest is action. I think South by Southwest should organize an entrepreneur's lobbying trip to Washington.
I've been saying that for some time. It's very easy for geeks. We're so into what we do, and we have blinders on. We forget that we have clout, and we often aren't political. And this is one issue where we really have to stand up and be counted, because this all relies on network neutrality, and all of this stands on that house of cards.
So watch this in the weeks and months to come. You're going to find the cable companies trying to find more ways to smash Netflix because they realize that Netflix is a huge competitor.
And you asked the question, why would Cabletown buy NBC? Because as bad as the network's business is, it's better than the cable company's business model right now. So they're all screwed. And if you have a choice, I'd rather be a content creator than a content carrier.
I should have put this, right. And when you look at what YouTube is doing, and YouTube is creating, buying extra networks as a way to make better content there, I think we finally find this, somebody is going to make it big on the internet. And that's going to change the whole dynamic.
I like that. One of these days.
It's you, Leo.
Somebody's going to make it big on the internet.
It's you. You're going to do the tattoo show, and then you just don't know what's going to happen. It's going to go wild on you.
You think the tattoo is all that's missing?
The tattoo show. Yes, Leo's tats.
I'm a blank canvas, baby.
That's right. That's right.
Fill me up. All right, Gina.
That's a show I'd watch.
No, you wouldn't. No, trust me. I can promise you, you would not watch that.
Right after Glee.
Yeah, right after Glee.
How'd you like Glee this week?
I didn't see it. How'd you like it?
What'd you think, Leo? Did you watch Gina?
I did. My DVR screwed up, and I started halfway through. It was very upsetting. I was all screwed up because of my trip.
You gotta just buy it. It's on iTunes. Just buy it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
That's what I did. I just ended up buying it.
Tell me if this was a next step, but I thought it was, and I thought it was important. It was a major gay teen kiss.
Ooh.
And what's great about that too was there's no, the world did not collapse the next day, except
times have changed. If you had done, I'm reading a great David Biancoli's book about the Smothers Brothers, where they got censored because they said the word breast. My breast swells with love for you. They actually had to cut that out.
That's crazy. I thought you were going to say it was a turning point because they did original songs, Jeff. It didn't even occur to me that you said.
That's how.
I was like,
that's how accepted it's become. Big deal. A couple of guys kissing. What the hell is that?
It's like whatever. Those two have been falling in love for like 2 years a season already.
I'm glad they finally kissed.
I put it wrong. It wasn't the kiss. It was the fact that in any show there's a sexual tension relationship that finally bursts, and now it's that one has a relationship blossoming. And they did a very good job with it, and they made fun. I said on Twitter it was good that that happened, and they made fun of a church lady, and I got certain people yelling at me on Twitter.
Probably mostly church ladies, I would guess.
Yeah. The nun
actually,
was formerly a stripper.
Satan. All right. Yeah, I missed it. I have actually not. The season resumed without letting me know. I've got a bunch of episodes.
You gotta get caught up, and I'm gonna buy it on iTunes
Yeah, that's what I did. So I know I've got it.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
Because my DVR screwed up a number of times with it. I think that they may be doing some DVR manipulation.
Yeah, maybe.
Setting a flag or something. I don't know.
There was definitely an argument in my house last night about why the season pass was not correctly configured.
you
there was
messed
some
up
domestic
Glee.
discord about the Glee mess up last night. So.
That's it. I'm taking the remote control. I am now in charge. That's really funny. That's the modern family fights over the TiVo.
Yes, it's like, no, V is lower priority than Glee.
V?
Oh,
V.
my.
V? Oh, boy, you're such a geek. Just because it's sci-fi.
I don't know. Maybe I think I just lost my geek card. V should be higher than Glee.
I think V is over Glee. It's unless it's alphabetical order.
The new geek.
Gleek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gleek's the new geeks.
Gleeks are the new geeks. All right. I'm just going to very quickly, because TNT is ready and Tom Merritt is here, I'm going to very briefly mention Google has updated its iOS client and put goggles in it and some nice new features, voice search. In fact, it kind of gives it parity in some ways with the client on Android. You can swipe search results. It's got all the apps listed now, so you can jump right to the apps, including Orkut. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have Orkut on here. Never mind. What else is new in here? There's quite a few new features. If you haven't tried the Google search app on, well, they even tell you what's new. Google Goggles and notifications, which is kind of cool. So your Gmail or calendar events will notify you directly. I'm going to enable that because I like my calendar to tell me what's going on. If you have iOS, update. That's it for this edition of This Week in Google. Gina Trapani is Ms. Think Up. She's given away an iPad, so go there and get one. She's also at smarterware.org. That's where she blogs and many other places as well.
Great show, guys. Love doing this show. So nice to be home and back in our regular routine. As much fun as Momo's was.
And Momo's was fun.
Yeah, it was.
If you didn't catch this week's TWiT, Jeff and Gina feature prominently along with a cast of millions.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarvis is a professor of journalism at the City University of New York, but he's also the author of What Would Google Do and a blogger at buzzmachine.com. Thank you for being here, Jeff.
Thank you for having me.
A little programming note. We've got a new show called Mostly Photo and a new time for Mostly Photo starting next Tuesday. It'll be right after Mac Break Weekly at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time at live.twit.tv. And we are doing some photo walks. Our first photo walk with Lisa Bettany, mostly Lisa.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I love photo walks.
Lisa's great.
Yeah. And we'll get a named photographer along with her, I believe. We're going to do it at the March 26th at the Ferry Building in San Francisco. So if you're in the Bay Area, you want to meet Lisa, and really, you don't have to have a fancy camera or anything like that. Just come out and take pictures. There was Trey Ratcliffe's photo walk. He had iPhone 4s, and that was great. Mostlyphotoadventures.com is our new website, mostlyphotoadventures.com, and you're actually going to see some of the most interesting things we're planning, including a Ford Explorer adventure coming up. We're going to send Lisa out into the field and get her doing some. This is really cool. It's mostlyphotoadventures.com. Oh, and that's where you have to go.
She's a sweetheart. It was good to spend time with her.
Yeah, you got to meet her, didn't you?
Yeah, finally. That was really fun.
Yeah, she is really nice. One of the nicest people I know, and a great photographer and really a good teacher. So that's kind of neat. Mostly Photo. There it is. Mostlyphotoadventures.shore. Post your photo, and we do want you to RSVP if you can, so we know how many people expected the photo walk. And we'll have some fun stuff there. Just click the Photo Walks tab to find out more. Also, want to remind you that Triangulation is coming up this afternoon right after TNT, about an hour and a half from right now at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Stephen Wolfram of Wolfram Alpha will be our guest. One of the smartest people in the world.
Guess.
Yes.
Oh, the IQ of this network just went up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, seriously. I'm suddenly feeling very dumb.
Yeah.
I've actually interviewed him before, and he's very pleasant, smart, of course, brilliant, but a very interesting interview. So that should be fun. Tom Merritt and I will talk to Stephen Wolfram at 4 p.m. Pacific this afternoon. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you all for being here. By the way, that triangulation show, if you're not listening live, you can capture. It's twit.tv/TRI, and it'll be out a few days later. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google.